Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see Viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Here we are going to feed this rugosus. It's Acanthopus rugosus, which is a death adder from Papua New Guinea. You're in Jawa, part of Indonesia. It's a little tricky because the snake will reach out and grab you. As you can see, that was quite a long reach, and I was trying to stay way out of her way. These guys are getting quite hungry because they're on an every other week feeding schedule. These are highly neurotoxic, and one nearly killed my friend Brian Fry, who's the venom doc. He studies venom evolution at the University of Queensland. He's very well published, a great scientist and a good friend. He writes in his autobiography about his experience with his death adder bite. I'll let you read that for yourself. It's quite fascinating as he knew that venom was taking hold. It's sort of when you know a lot about the medicine and venoms and stuff, you know what's going on if you're bitten inside you, which can be quite terrifying. And he describes the whole thing in quite exquisite detail. So again, that's Brian G. Fry. Look up any of the books that he's written. He certainly has a number of scientific publications to his name. He was bitten by a native death adder, Acanthopus antarcticus, which is the native death adder. Now, I don't know if you can see her or not. Death adders are these little landmines that sort of sit and wait for stuff to come by. There, maybe you can see her. If the camera would focus better, you could see her really well, but that's where she is. Back there, nestled in the substrate. So, sorry folks, I'm one-handing this. Mrs. Viperkeeper is not available for taking video today. Oh, we see a little quota luring there. You see the little tail wiggling. Let's see if we get some really good action, because it hasn't been fed in a while, and we want to get some quota luring. Quota luring is the snake wiggles its tail, trying to fool the prey animal and thinking, oh, there's a worm or something that I can go and get. And actually, it's a death trap. Well, you're doing all this quota luring, but you're not going to strike. Well, that was half-hearted after all that effort. Alright, we'll see if she eats. Normally death adders strike and hold, but it's sort of the off-season. It's a little cold in the lair because we've got the heating down in the house a bit because we want to save on heating oil, which many of you might know is nearly $4 a gallon. So the temperatures in the snake cages are controlled by their heaters, which is mounted there. They get heat from their lights, the cage below them, but they're still running a bit cold. Oops. The one disadvantage about having any substrate other than like newspaper is that it gets caught in these tracks for this glass. And I'm not really so inclined to use my fingers near the snakes. There we go. Got that all taken care of. We'll see if she eats. She's still caught alluring, which is quite remarkable on her own. This one is being much more visible. This is her sister. They were born out of the same litter. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to obtain any males, so I can't breed these anymore, which is sad because these were fun snakes to breed, and the babies were a little bit difficult to get feeding, but once you got them going, they did quite well, and they're quite beautiful. It's quite a rewarding experience. So, there we go. And there we go. We had a single happy Death Adder, and that was it. We're going to do more happy Death Adder. Again, this is a smooth Death Adder. The one down here is a rough Death Adder, but they're all from the same region. The smooth Death Adders are from the wet side of the island. That's why I have a misting system in this cage to provide extra water and humidity, whereas the rough Death Adder comes from the drier sides of the island, and they don't get misted at all. So we'll close the door and let her do her thing and move on.
We have a very upset Death Adder who is very hungry.
She got fed last week, and normally I'm feeding them every other week, but she is quite bitey. I'll give her something a little later, but you know, we were just filling water dishes, and when her dish was clean, so all I did was I overflowed it so she could get some humidity in her cage, and boom, she struck at the water bowl and got a mouthful of water, and then struck at me several times when I went to close the glass there. You know, we have an expensive misting system that you can you see the nozzles in the cage, and during the winter and I'll turn this on now, especially since it will piss Pink off. She hates to get wet, even though she's a deep rainforest snake. So we turn on the misting system every day for about 30 or 40 seconds to make sure the tropical snakes get some humidity, and we overflow their water dishes. And you can look around the room. All the cages, you know, get watered and misted down, so the humidity goes up. We let it run for about 30 seconds. The water cobra Thud hates it. Pink hates getting her face wet.
Oh, she's not happy.
So, you know, the arrow.
Oh, she's really not happy.
Did she strike?
She struck the glass towards you.
Oh.
Let you know, turn it off. Turn it off. I don't like this.
So we let the misting system, it runs on distilled water. And distilled water is, you can't use tap water because of the minerals in the tap water clog the nozzles. Then, if you can imagine, I have to climb in or go into cages and change the nozzles out and clean them, which I don't want to do. So the manufacturer, Pro Products, recommends that I use distilled water, since I'm just adding humidity. So it goes through these large quantities of distilled water on a regular basis. We have these 5 gallon or something like that.
Yes.
I've got 2 misting systems in the 2 rooms, and Pink absolutely hates getting her face wet, and she gets really agitated and irritated when she gets rained on. Don't you? Huh? And you were probably expecting a rat and not a chick. All right, there's some water for you to drink. I'll change your water dish when I can do so in a safe manner. For now, you'll just have to drink that if you want a drink of water.
Yeah, she's just not in the mood to mess around with.
Yeah, she's in a very, very foul mood. Okay, so like the smooth death adder that struck, whoop, we just saw a head twitch. The rough death adder also gets fed every other week, and it's probably going to strike and be very unhappy when I remove the water dish.
Yep.
Up. Are we going to be... Oh, we're caught alluring. Boy, you guys think I'm starving you. Huh? Alright, I'll break out some quail chicks for you guys just to make you happy. Jeez. So, yeah, notice I'm not using my... In some cages, I realize that it's fairly safe and low risk to put my hand in to change the water dish. Other cages, I absolutely positively will not put my hand in because I will end up in the emergency room looking very stupid. So, the rough death adders are from the dry side of Papua New Guinea. In here in Jawa, part of Indonesia. So she doesn't have a misting system in her cage, and I only run it down for the snakes that normally expect high humidity and moisture. These guys are perfectly happy from the dry side. They have water to drink, but they don't get a daily misting like everybody else. Okay. Here's another silly animal. Mr. Brown, the perpetual shedder. I see you. Oh, you're going into your trap box. If you do that, I'm going to have to trap you. Oh, no, you heard me. One. Oh, there you are. Hello. Hello, Mr. Brown. Oh, geez.
He's ready to eat.
Yee.
Oh, he's chewing on the glass. Oh. Oh my God, he's nuts.
Yes, Mr. Brown is a Spazo. Look, I'm not going to take it from you. Do you think I'm that crazy? Okay, so while your mouth is busy, we'll do our normal swapping of the water dish. Go ahead, you drag it back there because I want your last shedding. If he would only use his trap box, I would certainly clean his cage a lot more frequently, but he's,
Yeah, that's not a snake that you disturb and try to take out.
yeah, he's a bit wacky, and you know, in this particular cage, one time after cleaning the cage, I put him back in, and you know, I sort of hooked him in, and when I was withdrawing the hook, he lashed out and struck and hit the back of my hand with his mouth closed. So he can really reach out and touch you. So this is why I put the trap box in, but he doesn't go into the trap box, which is a problem. So, and the trap box is in a place where, you know, I can't even throw a mouse in there to get him lured into there. Subsequently, I've got to you know, hook him out into the big container here and clean his cage, which is due. You know, like all lapids, they're messy housekeepers. They're not like the viperids who will usually just go to the bathroom in one corner of the cage. The lapids seem to like to spray it about. So while he's finishing devouring what he has, I'm going the second one to thud. And shut it, and then I'll give the second one to Mr. Brown. Would you like another? Huh? Would you like another?
I think so.
There you go. That wasn't quite as feisty of a takedown as initially.
Yeah, he just gets absolutely frenzied. Where is it? Where is it?
Now, if you can imagine, this is the smaller cousin of the Australian mulga snake that is actually, they can be 7 or 8 feet and as big around as practically, you know, a king cobra the same size. They can be, you know, my forearm diameter, and they inject lots of venom if they get a hold of you.
Look at him suck that down.
Yeah, he's a vacuum. He eats anytime you offer anything, whether he's in shed or not, doesn't matter to him. He will eat it, and he'll eat whatever you put in there, including your fingers. Okay? All right, now go chill out or go sit and warm out.